Yeah, I had some pretty good entries here. I had this was it's all gone, but this was a onion ring with some bacon around it, and very delicious. Had a little bit of heat, a little bit of sweet. All of them were pretty good, to be honest with you. I think this one here was really good. This one over here was.
What was in there?
This was a meatball wrapped in bacon. Everything I had bacon on it, so it was delicious. Now, what do you got over here?
That's okay. You didn't say for me. I'm not going to say for you.
Well, you can have some of this.
All right, let's go this way.
It's terrible, ain't it? I gave them half over here.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
No.
Meatloaf,
Okay,
jalapeno in the middle of it, sauce, bacon wrap, very good.
Isn't that awesome?
This one had disappeared. I can't tell you what it was. This was a burger, a slider burger, good bun, good meat texture, good cheese, good entry. Jalapeno pepper with bacon wrap and cheese on the inside, very good. A little warm, as it should be. Bacon roll with a sauce and bacon pate in the middle of it, very good and excellent texture. Bacon wrap stuffed, can't tell you what it was stuffed with, but other than that, it was good. And then the thick onion ring, bacon wrap, was very good.
Tell us about what you ate.
Well, I ate different kinds of peaches, sir.
So the first one, the meatloaf
This
was very good. The
has
meatloaf was
a
very
little
good.
nuggets,
I really
peaches
enjoyed the
in
cream
it
cheese.
that when you bite into it, it
the
just
second one,
surprises you, which
very
is really
tender.
good.
This burger,
empty place right here,
I love this sauce. I'm not
it's like
exactly
a
sure what it is.
smoked. Yeah,
Meat's cooked very well.
it has a smoked flavor in it, so it's really, really good with that smoked
This one's
flavor.
very, very good. I honestly
This
can't
one is
remember.
actually very cinnamon, right? If I remember correctly.
I'm very surprised with
This is
The
amazing.
dough
This is my
very-
favorite.
it's cooked-
Okay.
it's not
Presentation,
dry, it's very
taste,
tasty.
everything.
And the bacon
and this is very
good.
peanut butter.
And I love the texture of this bacon on
So
the
overall,
outside of the,
everything's good,
the onion
but
ring.
I
Very
definitely
well
have my
done.
favorite.
Very well done.
Yeah, the only thing I could add to it is I like number 1. I think 1's awesome, and 4 is awesome as well.
Okay.
He did a great description.
And I also agreed. Number 1 and number 4 was also my favorite. And then the smoked pastry, which I ate it all because that was the best.
Okay. Thank y'all.
I'm not sure I really had one. I like this. It was something like a cobbler, I guess, but fancier.
Oh, you gonna quit there?
No. The peach was still good, but I didn't like the stuff on the top of it. This was very good. This was good. The cheesecake, of course, is always good. And this one, just didn't quite get it.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that enough?
Can you tell us what you ate?
All right, hey guys, what'd you cook? That's it for this evening. I want to thank you for all your time and skills here. Your time is really appreciated. I know this is a tough time to get to. A reminder for in the morning: get here early, park and do some pre-meal.
Incredibly good.
Thank you.
This is probably my second favorite, but this was extremely good pudding. This was delicious. Everything was delicious. Even the one that might have scored the highest was just incredibly good. So appreciate it.
I'm a little bit more critical. Okay. It was the peach was well cooked, and it was cooked all the way through, but it was bland. Didn't have any real good flavor to it. It had an okay texture, and then there wasn't a punch in the coating to compensate for lack of flavor in the peach. There could have been more seasoning on it. The second entry was bland. It was cake on the bottom with a little bit of peach and then whipped cream on the top, and they did a really good job to keep it chilled, but it had no distinct flavor to it. The third one looked like a hot mess, but it was delicious. It had peach in it, it had flavor, it had the cream in it, so it had good texture in it after it was on the side, even though it didn't look so hot, but it was very good. I was so sad about the fourth entry because it looked, presentation was spot on, but again, it lacked flavor. And the texture was just of, the texture was just kind of average and really didn't come up to the expectations I had. Could use some more cinnamon or nutmeg or just more flavor to it. Now this one's beautiful, and I would think that this would be one of our culinary experts probably did this one, but unfortunately I'm not a cheesecake person. For this one, it was beautiful, it was delicious, texture was spot on, but I'm not a cheesecake person, so for me it was too sweet. Now, and finally, the sixth item was for me was the three bears came in line, and everything was just right. The texture of the pudding, whatever that is that's in there, and the amount of peaches and the seasoning was exactly right. So I was thankful to finally get to the last item. It was just exactly spot on.
Okay, you're up.
So this is my first time judging real barbecue. I'm so excited. Chicken being the first one, and the number one was amazing. Biting to it, the juiciness, the taste. There's some that's surprising, but there's some that's surprising from a negative way. Number 6 was really overcooked and overspiced. Number 7, I'm glad we got that bonus one because that one was pretty good also. So with that, I'll leave the other comments to my.
Okay.
Okay. Sam.
No.
No. Okay.
No names,
so.
no numbers.
Okay. So yeah, what I find amazing is that you get 7 pieces of chicken and they're all cooked so close to perfection that you're looking at degrees, minute degrees of difference. But my overall, hands down winner was number 1 as well.
Do I have to?
You have to go. You have to go. I give it a choice. You have to go.
So this is also my first time judging official barbecue, and I was pleasantly surprised by all entries, but I would have to say hands down, number 1 was definitely the top. Number 7 was also very good, and the spices on all of these were just very, very good and very well done.
Okay. Merry Christmas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Number 1 was pretty much a perfect piece of chicken. It set the bar pretty high. Number 2 was a little overcooked, and I can't remember about the spice. Number 3 was definitely a different piece of chicken. I enjoyed it, but it was overcooked a little bit and probably could have been spiced a little bit more. Number 4 was the pretty much a perfect leg that we had. Very good flavor, very good moisture. Number 5 was a little overcooked, and the spice was a little strong on that. Number 6 was well overcooked and well overspiced. And number 7, we ended up with another perfect piece of chicken that was perfect moist and perfect spice.
All right, number 1, perfect piece of chicken, awesome presentation, tender, bite through, just amazing. Definitely set the bar. Number 2 wasn't too bad. Presentation could have been a little tighter, but other than that, very good piece of meat. Number 3, very good piece of meat. Had a little bit of a lighter fluid taste to it. Not too bad in terms of the presentation. Tenderness was a little off, but not too bad of an entry. Number 4, awesome leg. Love when I get a leg in the box. Very, very good taste as well. Number 5, a little spicy. think a little bit overdone as well. Not too bad of an entry. Number 6, that one was a little bit overdone, I think. Wasn't the bite that I liked, and the spice and the seasoning weren't quite there. Number 7, absolutely amazing presentation, incredible entry.
Overall, the chicken was very good. Number 3 was chicken breast, and it was an unusual presentation, but it was very good. But overall, the chicken was outstanding in all 7 entries. Thank you.
Overall, pretty good plate of ribs. Not a big differential from best to worst. My favorite was probably number 5. Good tenderness, good flavor. Only negative on that, maybe a little bit too much sauce on it, but overall, I think good plate of ribs.
I generally agree. The first one, to me, didn't have that much flavor. The second one was oversalted. Third one wasn't too bad, but there was no smoke taste to it. Fourth one was good. Probably my favorite as well was the 5th one. 6th one, as you can see from the sample there, the meat fell right off the bone. I took a bite, so it was overcooked.
So my experience was maybe a little bit different. I think with number 1, it almost had a beefy flavor. It was a bit chewy. I found number 4 to have a viscosity, a thickness, gumminess to the sauce that I wasn't a huge fan of. Number 5 had almost like an artificial candy flavor, perhaps like a grape juice flavor. It just seemed very odd to me. 6, there was just not a whole lot there. It was a little fall off the bone, but not too much so.
You're up. That's okay. Pass.
Well, my take was number 1 and number 6 were the best ones in my mind. Number 4 was just a little bit chewy, and number 3 was dry on one of the bites that I took.
Yeah, I think overall there was a certain sweetness profile to all of them, which is interesting. I thought number 5 was my favorite. I thought it balanced that sweet with some nice smoke. The only negative I would say is that number 2, I took one bite and almost half the rib came off, so it was a little overdone for me, but all in all I thought they were pretty good.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed entry number 1. The texture was absolutely phenomenal. It had a really good pork flavor. A little sweet, but it didn't hide the natural flavor of the meat. It was very well done.
For the pulled pork entry, the number 1 was absolutely the best. Good taste, right texture, is about perfect. Number 2 and number 3 and number 4 were just cooked badly. The second one had no taste, bland taste. The third one, the money muscle was tough. You couldn't bite through it. And the other ones were a little bit overdone. The fourth one, the problem with the fourth one is, I don't know, they just cooked it. You couldn't taste the smoke. You couldn't taste anything on it. It was just bland as could be.
Okay,
1, 2, 4, and 5 generally was in the same ballpark, maybe with the exception of 5, a little downgrade from the others. 3 and 9, maybe I had got a little bit different piece from a different part on my 9, but it was good. And 3 was good taste, good flavor, and good texture. And the other 4, for the most part, had good flavor, but the texture was lacking in most of those 4.
Go. So my favorites were number 1, which was a medallion, which was absolutely juicy, tender, and had some great pork flavor. And then number 3, the same, with 3 different cuts in there, each of which I think were consistent, juicy, tender, and a wonderful pork flavor coming through. My least favorite was number 2, which I found pepper overwhelming the flavor of the pork so much that you couldn't really appreciate it. And the chopped was very dried out, while the medallion was kind of sinewy and very chewy and hard to get through.
He's video. Yeah, but is he going to be talking about the deal? He's got a plate in front of him. Oh, he's got a plate. Okay. Pork is the toughest thing to judge, I think, that we have to do. And a lot of them break it down into tubes and medallions and chopped. But my thing is, I think the least cuts you put in there, the better off you are. There's a little piece of garnish up here, this parsley. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't use parsley in a box. I know KCBS says we don't need garnish, but for me, I'd use lettuce coiled at the bottom, the setup, and juice and stuff can drain down through it. But that's all for appearance. But I had a very good medallion, and the only reason I didn't give it 3 9s is that taste wasn't quite up to par. But I think it's dangerous putting in 3 different cuts where you're putting in tubes, medallions, and chopped or pulled, because you've got, as a judge all 3 things and try to come up with an answer. So anyway, we had some pretty good pork here today. But
we were given 7 samples of brisket. Each one had their own specific flavor and tenderness. Each one was pretty amazing. I think my favorite one was number 7. Brisket is my favorite, so it's very hard for me to choose which one is perfect, because they're all perfect in their own right. They're all wonderful. Number 1 was very flavorful and tender, but it didn't compare to number 7. I don't know what, I can't put my finger on the difference, but number 7 was just amazing. The rest of them, I mean, they're just so good. I don't really know what each specific one can. I can't tell you something about each specific one because they were all so very good.
The 7 pieces of brisket that we were given, all of them were very good. Some were a little more tasty and a little more tender than the others, but overall very enjoyable.
Out of the 7 entries, all of them were above average. Some of the more excellent one would have been number 5, and very close number 7. Number 1 was very tasty, but the appearance was just a little rough. But hey, I would eat it any day. But all of them were good contenders, and all above average, and some were very excellent. Very good.
Number 1 was mushy with little flavor.
Number 2 was actually very good. Tender, good flavor. Number 3 was very good, tender, really good flavor. 4 was good, just average on everything. Number 5 was tough, could barely pull it apart. Flavor was bland. Number 6 was tender, good flavor. And then number 7 was average across the board.